Hi. I'm just making some space on my shelf for the next 10 years of games. So the last 10 years have been pretty good with all the amount of games that came out. But the next 10 years, I figured that I had to make some sort of space on those shelves. So might as well do that now. So here is the top 10 games of the decade as defined by me. My games have no specific order. There are no specific favors as far as genres or games go. These are just the top 10 games of my favorite 10 years. 10. Super Mario Odyssey. A lot could be said about this game, and it's already been said about this game. It's a fantastic 3D platformer, much like Mario 64. And actually, when I was playing this, I felt a lot of vibes of Mario 64. This is one of my favorite Mario games. Galaxy's up there as well. Galaxy 1, I haven't played 2. But Mario 64 tops that by a landslide just because it took me to the 3D realm of being Mario. This is another game that when you're playing it, it took you to another realm. Being able to use Cappy and being able to capture so many enemies and use them and their benefits towards getting past certain puzzles and levels is unbelievable. This game is probably one of the best games on the Switch in my opinion, and I'm really glad that this is a piece of art that came out in the last 10 years. 9. The Last of Us. Probably the best cinematic storytelling of any video game I've ever played. There are a few other games that come close to it, but I was never as invested in those games as much as I was in this. The story by the end almost had me in tears. A father myself, seeing the portrayal of Joel and Ellie, how they became so close by the end and how Joel took Ellie under her wing and made the feel of a father and daughter combo. The cliffhanger ending, it was something I'm so looking forward to part 2 because of it. This game is by far one of the greatest games of the decade. It's up there on my top 10 for sure. What a masterpiece. 8. Halo Reach. Halo is known as a Master Chief story arc. As far as we've gotten up to 5, Master Chief's story arc hasn't been as good as many other story arcs in the series. Reach takes you as Noble Team and shows you what it is to be a Spartan. Much like Master Chief, they have the same abilities as Master Chief because they're one of the last bits of Spartans in the universe. Their story is unreal. It's full of a little bit of comedic twists, and its story arc ending nearly put me to tears as well. This is a fantastic game. I absolutely loved every second of it. The online multiplayer, the story arc, the last second of the game made you want so much more, and you actually felt for what it was to be a Spartan. 7. Uncharted 2. When I got my PS3, basically after I think the Slim model, this was bundled in with the console, and when I played it, I was amazed by the cinematics in this game. Being able to run away from something that's chasing you like an Indiana Jones style adventure, this was amazing. The voice acting was bar none, something I've never seen before, and spot on with the comedic tones that were strewed throughout this game. Drake's one-liners were fantastic and fit the bill perfectly at the moment that needed to be put into to alleviate some of the tension in the game. The unbelievable set pieces from the train or from the being chased down an alleyway with a truck in Sioux. Such a great game. I absolutely love it. I was actually pretty good in the multiplayer as well. Just an unbelievable game. 6. Breath of the Wild. This takes Ocarina of Time and amplifies it by 1,000. The world is vast. You could do anything. The ability to have to dress warmly or dress coolly in the desert and in the Arctic areas, having to cook your food to keep yourself warm, to concoct potions and get yourself certain hearts to get more abilities. The ability to get the Master Sword, which is a fantastic moment in gaming. But with that being said, the gameplay is amazing, but the breaking weapons doesn't quite do it for me. It's just some things I didn't like about it. I wish they kind of didn't put in there, but it is one of the best games I played of the last 10 years. 5. Borderlands 2. I was never invested as much in multiplayer as I was in this game. Being able to take a character, level them up totally to level 50 and have a different skill tree for every character you have. I can have a certain character build and you can have that same character with a totally different build that suits your gameplay. I used to play this game like non-stop all the time. I leveled up 2 characters to level 50 and getting loot was still fun at level 50. Being able to swap out certain weapons and use their abilities and their elementals in battle was unbelievable. The Easter eggs in this game were so much fun to find. Finding a certain enemy that you can take pot shots at and let him evolve into another character, and then take pot shots at him and he can evolve even bigger and bigger and bigger. There's so many characters that blew my mind, that they just kept on amplifying and multiplying in certain game modes. It was so much fun. I probably spent maybe 300 hours in this game. I wish I could go back and play this over and over again and spend as much time as I did while I was playing it in the last 10 years. Next is an indie title. Once I played it, I fell in love with it right away. And that's Valiant Hearts. Valiant Hearts is a game that takes place in World War I. You play as 3 separate characters, and each character has an intertwining story that finishes off at the end and showcases what war does to people. When I first played it, I was amazed by the story without any real narrative. Just the emotion shown on screen was more than enough for me to get severely invested into this game. It all connects at the end, and when you finally get that last sense of accomplishment when you finish this game, it nearly brought me to tears, just because of the long trek that we got to take these characters through. Such a great game, and I definitely suggest, if you haven't played this indie title, Valiant Hearts, it's such a great game, and I certainly hope that you guys get a chance to play it. Mass Effect 2. I have the trilogy here, and 1 was a good recipe formula for it, and number 3, it was okay for me, but 2 changed everything that 1 delivered and delivered it even better. It was unbelievable. The story was so good. The ability to have your characters and find them and do their story arcs and quests to get them to be on your favor, which was really, really cool ability in the game. I unlocked all the characters, but I failed on 2 of the missions for your Legion to actually like you, I guess you could say. I really did enjoy the game through and through. I probably put maybe 120 hours in this year, and it's an unbelievable game. It's so much fun. The way to go through certain missions, different worlds, different things and quests you could do, different materials you can gather to better your ship or better your weapons. Like I said, I sunk 120 hours and I didn't even scratch the surface of this game. God of War, probably one of the best PlayStation 4 games that have ever graced the system. The story of Kratos and his son, not knowing from where 3 left off to where this starts off. You don't know where the story arc was going, and you're so lost. The first 10 hours, you're wondering, what the hell am I playing? I don't know anything about the characters. I don't know anything about what's going on, what happened to Kratos' story arc from the last one. Is this a reinventing of the story arc? What is going on? And it actually answers all those questions the more you play. The story between father-son, how the son looks up to the father and knows there's something more, but we don't know what it is, as even the player don't know what it is. And when you see the father look at the son and you see the character develop and who he becomes, probably one of the greatest cliffhanger endings I've played in the last 10 years. Such a great game. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this is not indicative of where these games sit on my personal list. They were not ranked from 10 to 1 for any specific reason. It's just the way it's gotta be. Witcher 3. I spent hundreds of hours in this game, and with the Netflix original series that came out, watching the series unfold, by the first and second episode, I wanted to go back to this game. I might pick it up on the Switch just so I could watch the series and play it on handheld mode at the same time, because I have had such a blast in this game. The story, the quests, even the smallest of quests, you believe it's a small quest, still takes you on such a huge story arc, and it takes you away to this unbelievable scenery and unbelievable countryside of a game. There's so much to do in this game that even if you could spend 300 hours in this game, there's still so much more to do. And if you haven't played it, it's a cinematic masterpiece and story-driven game. It's unbelievable. Now, those are my top 10 games. There's a lot of honorable mentions: Skyrim, the Gears of War series, Halo, Uncharted 4, and even in the Uncharted series. I have 2 on this list. Each one could be interchanged at any point in time. Rise of the Tomb Raider and the Tomb Raider series. There's so many games that if I wanted to make this could be the top 100 games of the decade. These games are my personal favorite of the last 10 years. They've struck a chord to me personally, and I cannot look back in the last 10 years and not think of these 10 games as what defined me in gaming. With that being said, what are your top 10 or even top 5 games? Put them in the comments down below and let me know what you guys think. Maybe we can start a conversation and see where that ranks up even past my top 10. Please like, comment, subscribe. Thanks, guys.